Okay, so I think the evolution of search, I think the way the industry is evolved is that number of internet users in India were like 2-3 million, now they're 80 million. If you just take the amount of spends that, I remember we used to get 1 lakh rupees a month from a client and we used to be overjoyed. Today we get a starting budget of 20-30 lakhs a month and we are okay with it. When it goes to 50 lakhs, then we get happy. So the expectations, I think the way the digital has now arrived in India. It's taken 10 years, but now it has arrived. Brands were looking at search very clearly from performance basis, which meant lead generation. That today, if you ask me, I'm proud to say, I don't have a single client that buys CPL today for me. And I'm sort of a CPL or performance-led agency, right? That's what we have always been. So that whole attitude shift of using digital for branding is also a huge change that is going through in India. And it's been phenomenal. I think last 1 year has been probably one of the better periods of my life for sure in the last 12 years of my digital journey. Okay, I think the consumer behavior has changed. So what has happened is that earlier internet was expensive, mobiles were expensive, the consumer time on the internet was limited. Today, the latest research shows nearly 30% of leisure time of consumers is being spent on the internet. So now the thing is, 23% is television, 21% is print, 19% is radio, but 30% is internet. So suddenly if you take the kind of leisure time that we do, the amount of video consumption we do, that devices like tablets, iPads, mobile phones, the operating systems like Android, BlackBerry, Apple coming in. So basically what's happening is digital has become a sort of a lifestyle choice for us, where we're watching movies, we're downloading music, we are playing applications. Even to a certain extent, people are now pausing ads or fast-forwarding ads on television. So the whole consumer behavior is now, digital is accepted as a part of a life. So automatically what happens is, unlike UK and US, where even the socially, economically challenged people have sort of internet access, in India is the people who are the ones who have disposable income, they are the ones who are affluent, they are the ones who per se can spend for brands. So per se, these are the guys whose lifestyle has changed. Suddenly these are the ones who are on the internet, they are the ones who are spending more time there. So now brands don't have a choice. Brands are making that shift of targeting these consumers because you have to follow consumers. If consumers start spending more time away from a certain medium, it is just a matter of time that the advertisers will have to follow. Okay, so I think you used a very interesting term. You used the term called web presence rather than website, right? That itself is a huge evolution, right? So earlier brands would think of making a website. Now you don't think about a website, but you think of web presence. So now having a presence on maybe a YouTube brand channel, right? So we've launched about 8-9 brand channels. It requires 10 lakhs upfront investment for just reservation buys on YouTube, just plain video advertising, which is brand building advertising. But that's what consumers are doing. If you take a Facebook page, if you actually want to have a LinkedIn profile, even things like Facebook Connect, where every single person who buys a product, they know which of their friends have actually bought their product. Right? And so they can actually do window shopping. It's like going out shopping with your friends because you know which products they've liked. If you take company pages on LinkedIn, every single thing is a testimonial. So if 500 people have liked a certain product, you come to that product page, it'll tell you out of those 500 people, how many of them are your friends. So you can actually give them a call and ask them, hey, you said a testimonial for this product, what do you feel about it? So basically today, I think having a web strategy or a web presence strategy is critical. Now, search becomes the spinal cord of the strategy because what happens is that if you want to build a community, you got to see the community. You got to attract the right target audience through that community. Search is the best way to reach out to them. If you want to create content, so let's say I want to reach out to people who are interested in car maintenance, and you create 100 videos on car maintenance. Then having videos or getting people to actually see those videos, you'll have to bid for them on search. So basically, every single digital strategy that you have, search becomes sort of the spinal cord to drive the digital strategy. And it's great to be in that center of the universe on digital media, which is amazing because we just stood there and the whole world started revolving around us. It's been very good. Okay, so honestly speaking, I've always maintained we've actually not been a search company. So what we believe is, for bird's eye view, we believe that Our vision is to help companies leverage technology to make their advertising more effective. Search is something that met certain foundation pillars that we believed about media. One was that media should be bought through an auction. Second thing is it should be measurable. Third thing, it should be contextual or it should be intent-based. So these are the things that search met. That's the reason we did search. Now there are a lot of other mediums. There are ad networks, there are mobile phone applications, there are social media advertising, there is YouTube advertising to a certain extent. There are a lot of things that allow me the same level of benefit that search delivers. So into all these mediums. We've launched like 9 brand channels in the country. I don't think there's a single agency in the country who's launched 9 brand channels on YouTube. Right? So I think one of the roles that we are evolving into, which our whole expansion is, to become sort of a digital architect for a brand. Okay. So what we believe is that search is a spinal cord. We have a lot of expertise there. So we then take the role of being the sort of a digital architect for a brand. That involves usage of social media. It could involve ORM, it could be social media listening, for market research, it could involve things like Facebook applications, it could involve mobile phone applications, it could mean a whole strategy of what kind of content they should create, what kind of videos they should create. So there should be somebody who handholds a brand. Now we've got 10 years, 11 years of experience in doing digital, right? So I think we are in a position where we know all the vendors, we know how to manage them in terms of time and cost constraints. So our job is to be that digital over sort of an architect and handhold the brand through the entire digital process. So the next 2 years, 3 years, what are the things the brand needs to do? So we are currently working with about 5 to 6 brands, where the entire digital strategy of the brand is handled by us, where probably only 50% or 40% of the execution is done by us. Rest 60% of the execution is done through partner vendors, but we are accountable for the strategy as well as implementation of it. So if something goes wrong or something succeeds in the digital strategy, we're the guys who get the kudos or the blame for it. See, I think the thing is that every medium has to go through evolution, right? So nobody wants to be the first guinea pig. So each medium has to fight the right to be accepted in the marketeer's mind share, right? So I think social media today is sort of starting in the battle, right? So if you take Facebook, from nowhere, it's got $2 billion of revenues, right? I think a market cap or the investment that some of these companies sort of get is a very clear view of where people are expecting the company to go. So let's say if Facebook is valued at 50 billion today, I can easily say that somebody has put in money where the mouth is, right? Because somebody has valued it and put in the money inside the company, right? So belief is that I think the same way how Google has progressed, there's a possibility that other social media sites, Facebook will progress. YouTube is probably the best acquisition that Google did. So I think if you ask me, when I tried to sell video advertising 2 years back, we hardly got any traction. Okay. The last 2 months, we've talked to brands who have not done digital, and suddenly they've gone for a brand channel. Like 9 of them in 2 months. We booked 9 brand channels in 2 months, and these were conventional advertising, conventional advertisers rather than digital advertisers. Yeah. So I think the same tipping point is going to come in the real sense in social media. But I think the key is that I think a lot of times people position social media not the right way. So I'll give you an example, right? I feel social media is the closest digital has come to equating itself with conventional media. 2 things that social media delivers today, which conventional media could deliver. One was frequency. So frequency is something which television could, a lot of other media could. Yeah. And today, I think social media can deliver frequency. Second thing is duration of ad exposure, and especially multimedia ad exposure. So YouTube is something which is again a very exciting medium, which not only delivers frequency, but a multimedia ad exposure. Okay. If I would position it this way, right? So if you take social media as the closest digital has come to television in the language of TRP, it gives you reach, right? Great. And second thing, it gives you sort of reach and frequency, right? And multimedia ad exposure. So these are things that social media can deliver. So if it's come as close to television, then it should be priced accordingly. So if I were to price Facebook advertising, it need not be on a click basis. It may be based on the duration of ad exposure, the reach it gives you, and clicks is just another engagement, but it doesn't need to be priced on a click basis. So if I have a medium which is sort of closer to television, it should be priced accordingly. So I think that's where I think social media is going wrong. where the pricing is based on clicks, which is following Google. Google is very intent based. Here it should have been more it should have been based more like television, and I think they would have got a lot more revenues. So I think AdTech is something which is, as I've said before, is the mecca of all internet conferences. I've personally spoken in AdTech Frisco, which had 7 tracks. I've spoken in London, I've spoken in Singapore. If all the conferences that I've spoken at, I think AdTech has been the most fun experience. The quality of speakers you meet, the kind of people that I've engaged with, the kind of keynotes that I've heard is just brilliant. So I would say that from a conference point of view, if I were to attend or speak at one conference, AdTech is definitely the one. So it's a wonderful experience being a part of the advisory council of AdTech, select the speakers, the content, but I do believe that this is one of the best conferences in the world, and anybody who would like to understand digital media, this is one conference you can't afford to miss.